clean some stuff up. What's going on, guys? High Tech Lab here, and today I am showing and explaining my carb sync tool I made for my motorcycle, which is a Honda V45 Magna. If you're looking for this motorcycle in specific, the holes are over here that you gotta thread into for the tool. There's two on the other side, and then the screws are back there. You gotta look for them. They're a flathead, so it's helpful to have a specialty tool such as this one. This is the one I ended up using for all the adjustments. This one you can take out the different attachments. Anyway, I'm cleaning up, so I don't need that anymore. So you use that to you can turn this hard with one hand, but you turn this and it adjusts all the way through the tool. But anyway, on the carb sync tool, this is a piece of flat stock with 8 holes drilled in it, and these are the tubes that go to the carburetors, and these are the tubes filled with oil that you use to supply the anyway, so if there's more vacuum on this tube, these will go down based on it's only relative vacuum, not absolute. So if this has a greater vacuum, this will go up, and depending on which one over here has less of a vacuum, that'll tell you this one's high and which one's low, and so on and so forth. So you can use that to determine the vacuum. Now what I had to do is, a lot of these were far out of sync and the bike was running kind of rough. So if you have a pair of vice grips like so, what I ended up actually doing is I just clamped the middle to where the oil was, not where the air is, because if you clamp where the air is, the air can actually expand and throw off your reading. So if you're going to clamp any of them, clamp where the oil is. So that way the air doesn't expand and oil doesn't expand because it's a liquid. Now, as you can see, these 4 are just about dead on the same level, but these hoses aren't all the same length, and that's because these 4 tubes are based on gravity, and gravity and with physics will keep the tubes all at the same level. So if you look, they're all right on, even though these are all completely different tube lengths. Now in here I'm running 10W30 oil because that's what I had convenient, and it was actually a contaminated bottle, which I kind of didn't really help the cause, but it was empty. It's about here. So I used this over here to fill it. I used a turkey syringe to fill it. This is a 1/4-inch tube. And then to get in the engine, it's a M.5 by 0.8 or something. It's a metric screw. It's like M5 something, and you can't really find anything like that. So actually, these are 1/4-inch barb couplings for drip lines. And if you look, where is a good one? If you look over here, you see how they have the barb? Well, if you cut off the pointy part, you're left with this, and this actually is just the right size to, with a warm engine, you could just thread it right into the hot engine and it works well. So definitely want a few vice grips for clamping lines. So if you want to only compare 2 of them, you'd clamp 2 lines. Connect it up to the engine and sync it. On this one, I had to write it down. If the vacuum was too high, you'd turn the idle screw out. And on this carburetor number 1 for the number 1 cylinder is stuck on its current settings, so you'd have to adjust the other ones. So what I did is I always had one connected to the number 1 carb, and then I'd adjust the other 3 carburetors to match that. And I only did one at a time because it gets kind of tricky to worry about multiple carburetors all at once, and it's almost overwhelming. So I only did one at a time based on the number 1 cylinder, and then at the end I connected all 4 of them and they were all balanced out. So it's almost a bit easier to deal with a cylinder at a time. But yeah, this is synced and runs a lot nicer. It's if your engine idles rough, like the idle screw down here, definitely had to turn off on it because it would start idling really high once it got better sync. But it doesn't die at the low RPMs anymore, which is a major plus. That was the issue I was having, is I'd pull up to a stop and the engine would die. So definitely worth taking the time to sync it up, and it's better. You get better fuel economy. It'll warm up easier, like in the mornings. This motor was being kind of interesting. Like, it'd start up better without the choke than it would with the choke. It just was weird. So I just finished syncing this, so I don't know whether or not that will still be the case, but hopefully we get better results. It definitely did run a lot better going down the road. I did test drive it, so that's a major perk. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Discuss in the comments below. Other than that, I will talk to you guys later. More videos coming soon. Bye.